Hello again. Today is Tuesday, June the 14th, 2016, forgive me. And it's about 9:30 in the morning. This is a video concerning the Orlando shooting spree. Wanted to talk about that and talk about the potential developments I've been reading concerning false flags. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with false flags. If you're not, false flags are where government, either through police or FBI or Central Intelligence or Homeland Security, whatever, will go and supplant and subvert in a certain area or certain part of the country, certain place such as Orlando and such as this nightclub called the Pulse, where they think or they feel that there is some type of subversion going on, something going on to where being spoke out against whatever the government is doing, or perhaps whatever the government's backers are doing, financial backers such as the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family, the DuPont family, the Koch brothers, etc. They will take and infiltrate areas with people to carry out acts of terrorism, acts of violence, acts of hate and extremism, such as what was done at this nightclub on Sunday, well, early Saturday morning, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, forgive me. And they will supplant these people, such as this Mr. Martin, to go in and to create problems, create chaos, create confusion, and either hurt, maim, or kill innocent men, women, and children of age for various purposes of stopping that subversion or whatever the government deems as subversion. It's my understanding that this particular nightclub wasn't just a nightclub, but it was a place where activism and public advocacy was going on at. And they were always gathering there, people were gathering there, organizing there. Apparently the club ownership was active and still are active in the community. Interested in what's going on in the city of Orlando, what's going on in the state of Florida, what's going on across the country and around the world. And so they use this club as a place for meeting and for advocacy and for helping the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and questioning community at large. The government, being what the government is, felt threatened by that. And they sent Mr. Martin, this Mr. Omar S. Martin, in to supplant, subvert, and sublime. Apparently he was a frequenter of the club, would hang out there, would drink there, would interact with the people in the club, so much so that many of the people felt threatened or eventually began to feel threatened by his presence, being number one. He's progressing along and he's doing his thing, and in the process he's used in such a way that he snaps, not unlike Aaron Alexis back in 2011, the young man that went into the Washington Navy Yard and killed all of the people in the Navy Yard in building number 101, Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. And then prior to that, a young lady named Miriam Carey from Connecticut, who drove down with her child, who was presumably the love child of Barack Obama, to confront Mr. Obama at the White House about this child, and apparently about him not taking care of this child like he needs to. I don't know if that's true, not true, whatever. But these people were used by the government certain times, certain places, and certain points to subvert, supplant, sublime. You say, well, what does Aaron Alexis, Aaron Carey, and Omar S. Mateen have to do with anything? These people were crazy, they were nuts, it was proven nuts, they were under a lot of stress. Mr. Mateen's ex-wife said he beat her regular, did all these things to her when she didn't even wash the clothes like he wanted washed, didn't wash the dishes like he wanted washed, didn't clean up the house like he wanted cleaned it up, whatever. And so much so that eventually she got tired of the beatings and she reached out to her own family and said, my God, you've got to get me out of here. I'm going to die. This man is going to kill me. So, you know, you say, well, what does that have to do with anything? These people were proven nuts. Aaron Alexis, he was psychotic. Miriam Carey, she was psychotic, whatever. Being number 2. The government uses these stories to plant in the media, oh, these people, they're crazy, they're nuts, they got problems, oh God, oh God, oh God. We need to watch them and watch other people, and oh, by the way, ban assault rifles. Take the assault rifles away. And we'll talk about that in a minute. That's being number 3. As we progress into this narrative, this story of these crazy psychotic people, they get these automatic weapons. He was able to get the automatic weapon, passed background check. He worked for the federal government, for God's sakes. He was a member of the U.S. military, apparently a Marine, etc., etc., etc. So too was Aaron Alexis. And it's believed that Miriam Carey was also a member of the United States military at one time herself. These people are used. They're picked out. They're handpicked. And that gets us into being number 4, which is something that they call Manchurian candidates. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Sirhan Sirhan and Mr. Bobby Kennedy, who was assassinated at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California in 1968 when he was running for the Democratic primary, or to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States in 1968. It's believed that Mr. Sirhan Sirhan was a Manchurian candidate. He maintains that he was, or at least his lawyers and defense maintain that he was kidnapped by the government, taken, tortured, sleep deprived, etc. Early versions of enhanced interrogation techniques like they used on Abu Zubaydah and also the Blind Sheikh and Sheikh Khalid Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11 supposedly. The prolonged interrogation, enhanced interrogation, sleep depravity, starvation, privation, they're programmed and they're set loose, they're turned back loose on society, and at the right time, at the right place, they're switched on and they do whatever it is that they do. In this case of Robert Kennedy, he was killed. Sirhan Sirhan killed him supposedly. Although it's believed that he had accomplices, just like it's believed that Mr. Mateen had accomplices. And Aaron Alexis had accomplices, and Miriam Carey had accomplices. And that these people worked in conjunction with their accomplices and their handlers to carry out their acts. That's being number 4. Being number 5 is, once the government does what they do, they then take the people that they have supplanted, and like I said, they turn them on at the appropriate time and appropriate place. In this case, nightclub, famed nightclub, place of activism, advocacy, etc. What are you doing? Okay, this doesn't look good here. So we need to subvert that. So they're supplanted. They are at the appropriate time turned loose. The aftermath that follows is we need to ban assault weapons, etc. Let me explain something to you. And this is a problem that I have with these people that talk about Second Amendment rights and the right to keep and bear arms, etc. If you look at the Second Amendment in its entirety, it says, and in part, for a responsible, well-regulated militia. What does militia mean? Militia means police, military, guard and reserves, state and local, national police force. Doesn't say anything at all about the everyday ordinary citizen, that would be you and me, having access to weapons. I know I'll get comments and I'll get dislikes, thumbs up, thumbs down, etc., and that's okay. I really don't care one way or another. I do these videos for informational purposes only. What you do, don't do, what you say, don't say concerning these videos is your own affair. I put them out there for strictly informational purposes. Where they land or end up doesn't matter to me. But it says that it's for a responsible, well-regulated militia. It don't say that it's for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to get an AR-15, an M16, a Browning 5 autoloader, a whatever. It's for police and military. That's what that's for. And this is my pet peeve with these people, with the NRA and other Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment groups and organizations. They're lying to you. It is not for you, the individual, to keep and bear arms. It's for your police and your military to keep and bear arms, and God forbid some national or international crisis such as 9/11, so that they can act to stop a catastrophic event. Like what went on with this nightclub in Orlando. Police are supposed to be able to go up in there and put down, suppress whatever the problem is. It is not for you, Joe Blow or Jane Smith, to go up in there with your AR-15, your M16, your Browning 5 autoloader, or your 38 Special, snub-nosed 38 Special, your Saturday Night Special, and shoot up the place. It is for a responsible, well-regulated militia. What is responsible? That's people that are trained to use long rifles with multiple ammunition rounds. That's what that's for. It's some sense about you. And this is what needs to be explained in detail. So if you want to take a tidbit of information from this video, take that. Second Amendment doesn't say anything at all about the individual's right to keep and bear arms. It says about a responsible, well-regulated militia. You and I as individuals are not militia unless we join a militia or a police force, in which case we have access to weapons. It's osmosis. So I wish to God that groups like the NRA and other Second Amendment organizations would quit lying to people and quit telling people that it's okay for them to go into a gun store, a gun show, or whatever, and buy that AR-15, buy that M16, buy that snub-nosed 38 Special, buy that 45 caliber automatic handgun. It's not. It's not. And so this is the problem, because then we have politicians who get NRA money and other Second Amendment organizations money, and they campaign and they run, they say, I got me an A, I got me an A rating, because I like guns, I got the guns, I got the guns, the guns. For crap. Any politician that sits to you and across from you or stands in front of you and says that it's a-okay for you to use and carry a weapon is lying. They don't know their head from a hole in the ground because they've been told by the NRA to lie, which is it's okay for the individual to keep and bear arms, and it's not. It's for police and military only. Had police and military been on or near that nightclub on Sunday, I dare say the carnage would have been almost nil what it is now. But, and alas, they weren't. And that's being number 7. For all of the talk about a good guy with a gun can keep a bad guy down with a gun, they don't talk about the fact that these people are used by government, by governmental agencies to subvert, supplant, undermine, create chaos, confusion, and disorder in a place that is otherwise peaceful. Insofar as I know, the Pulse nightclub was in no way an unpeaceful or unorganized place. It was a place of peace, a place of joy, a place of rest, relaxation, and a place where the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning community could come and feel loved and appreciated and get some news and information on where they might best could help advance the cause and the agenda of their quote-unquote community. That's it. To me, ain't nothing wrong with that. We are stronger together than we are apart. That's being number 8. As long as we're separated by race, creed, religion, political, socio-economic, whatever, we're divided, and that's the way government wants it. They want us in chaos, they want us in confusion, they want us in cahoots, they want us over here with this group, over here with that group, and in little factions and fractions and fissures and this and that, so that they can do their thing. That's the other thing. This is being number 8. Recently, on May 31st, 2016, President Obama was at an annual FEMA conference in FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C., along with Hillary Clinton. At this FEMA conference, it was reported that they were discussing ways to create catastrophic events here in the United States of America. At the same time, or on or about the same time, began the annual Bilderberg and Trilateral Commission meetings in Europe. They too are working on plans of catastrophe and chaos and confusion in Europe and other parts of the world, so that people can be thrown into a cocked hat. Because as it stands right now, we're in the middle of a national election cycle here in the United States of America for the presidency of the United States, where we've got, quote unquote, on one hand Hillary Clinton and on the other Donald Trump. Both, by the way, are asterisk candidates for the presidency of the United States. They are the two most controversial, benign, and maligned candidates for high office in U.S. history. Not since George Wallace and Richard Nixon, and I'm guessing John Anderson and Ross Perot, or whatever, even forget not Ross Perot, Ralph Nader. Mr. Ralph Nader. Has there been more quote-unquote controversial, malign, benign candidates for the presidency of the United States, and therefore they need asterisks by their name? Sort of like Major League Baseball did with Barry Bonds when he quote-unquote broke the home run record. They put asterisks by his name because he broke it under questionable circumstances, as we now know. So Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump need asterisks by their name, and history will eventually record it as such. But Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were at this FEMA conference. FEMA has an annual conference about this time to talk about planned events, disasters, catastrophe. How can we organize? How can we plan? How can we create chaos, cahoots, and confusion? I don't know for sure if President Obama signed off on anything or not. I'm probably partly halfway certain that he did, but I don't know entirely. But this conference was set up for these things to occur simultaneously with the Bilderberg and the Trilateral Commission's meeting in Europe. All chaos, confusion. And lo and behold, we come to Sunday, June the 12th, 2016, when the world awakes to the fact that nearly 50 people have been murdered and at least 50 to 60 more either maimed or seriously injured at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. It's not by coincidence, folks. It's by design. It's not by happenstance. It's by design. You will find as you study and as we go along and progress with this Mr. Martin, the former, well, there's no such thing as former, he was a Marine, United States Marine, an American. Trump wants to talk about he wasn't an American. He was an American, born in Indiana, born of Afghan parents. American is apple pie. Raised in New York City. Troubles me. This man, Marine, served his country, Iraq, Afghanistan. He tried out apparently for the New York Police Department, got involved with the training, whatever, was accepted, went through the process, for whatever reason, couldn't cut it. So the New York Police Department, they cut him loose. But he liked police, liked law enforcement, etc. And so somehow he managed to, with his background in the Marine Corps and ability to fight, got involved with the Department of Homeland Security. Contractor situation, security there. And then he works for this security firm. I forget the name, you forgive me. He goes to work for this security firm. And apparently it's a world-renowned security firm. It's one of the largest security firms in the world, based in Britain. And he gets jobs, venues, various venues and events, public events. And apparently he was a security guard for a while at this nightclub. And even after his security job ended, he kept coming back to the nightclub, drinking, having a good time, whatever. And getting to know, quote unquote, the people in that community. He was used. Mr. Martin was used by the government at the appropriate time to do what he did on Sunday last. That's it. And it is not by happenstance that went on. It's by design. Just like it's by design that this FEMA conference met, just like it's by design that Bilderberg and the Trilateral Commission meet every year at this time in Europe. Big conferences. What can we do to create chaos and cahoots and confusion and turmoil and discontent, to throw the people off so that we can get our asterisk candidates up there? This is the other thing with the asterisk candidates. If Hillary Clinton is so lucky, quote unquote, to have secured the nomination of the Democrat Party against Mr. Bernie Sanders, why then is she being sued in federal, state, and local courts in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the state of Nevada, the state of Arizona, and the state of California for voter fraud, for vote rigging, for vote buying, for electioneering? Why her and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, being sued in federal, state, and local courts concerning this primary process in those particular states? If it's inevitable and we're in the era of inevitability, why is it that Hillary Rodham Clinton is being sued? You say, well, controversy follows the Clintons. It's the Clintons. It's the Clintons. They have controversy all the time. Controversy, some kind of controversy. Vince Foster, Rose Law Firm, Whitewater, Monica Lewinsky, etc., etc., etc.